We're streaming live on YouTube now. Okay. What is that?
Are we getting an AI intro from a random?
Yeah, an unsolicited commercial. That was weird. It was an ad that started playing on one of my tabs. It heard that we were live streaming and it thought, hey, here's the opportunity. Welcome to the AI Unplugged Mastermind. And today we've got some interesting updates. We will be talking about what's been happening in the last week, what's happened in some of the court cases, what that looks like right now. And also, we're going to show you how we have been using our likeness. And some people call it your AI twin or digital twin to create some videos. And we've been getting team members to train their own avatars so that we can use real humans, even if it's AI assisted. And then I don't necessarily have to be present to make all the videos. And they can get made and they can get out there. So it's kind of fun. Definitely need to create some more avatars. Mine was made back in September, and the technology has advanced just since last September. Some of the new things with HeyGen are pretty cool. So I will turn it to Katie, who wrote the newsletter this week and will give us an update on what's happening in the world of AI.
Awesome. So first off, I don't know if anybody has heard of some of the major newspapers suing OpenAI and Microsoft for copyright infringement. Basically, they are saying that they misused the reporter's work to train the generative artificial intelligence systems. They're also saying that because of the way that the AI was trained, the AI is creating like fake news reports. So there was like a fake Denver Post article that promoted smoking as an asthma cure. So there's a lot of potential harm, and I'm gonna totally forget the word, but when you like talk badly about a company or can't think of the word now, it's totally left my mind.
Defamation. That would be
Defamation.
defamation.
Thank you. So yes, so there's a lot of that going around, and it's not just one newspaper, it's New York Daily News, Chicago Tribune, and a whole other group of newspapers. So it's kind of interesting because it brings up the whole, like, basically the way most of these AI were trained is because they scraped things off the web. Did they have permission to scrape everything off the web? I'm kind of one of those people that if it's out there in the world, it's somebody's probably going to use it for some purpose. Um, so I think it's one of those gray lines, but again, it's that landscape that we're still navigating as far as what's okay and what's not okay. Um, the next piece of news actually goes along with our little HeyGen update that we'll be doing. So,
Oh, wait, before you move on to that, I wanted to add to that other news because I had heard, and maybe it's the same thing, but it's sort of adding on to what you were talking about with those articles. Not only that, but, and I think we talked about this before, but this is also that area where they can take other people's work and then train the AI on their work and then use their work likeness to create more work and the copyright issues and stuff that they're having there, which is similar, if not the same in some cases, as what you're talking about there, which is kind of interesting, right? Because there's articles for, however many years out there on the internet. And if you use that to write a blog or, I don't know, train a GPT or anything, are we essentially using their likeness in some way, or I know there was another lawsuit like that, and now it's going away from me where it was from, but it was about that same thing. So it's like, at what point, and we always talk about what that 100-year mark, like when the copyright thing goes away. So there's that, right? But right now we're all using current information. So it'll be interesting to see like if they can control that or how that will work, or if it just needs to be cited, or I mean, I don't really know. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think that's a good segue to the next piece of news because this one British singer-songwriter is kind of taking control of her own deepfake. So she has created her own AI, her own likeness. She didn't want anybody else creating it except for her. She was like, it's going to happen, so I'm just going to do it myself. So it's not only trained in her personality, but it can use her exact tone, and it can also speak a lot of different languages. So she's actually been in testimony, and she's pushing for legislation that like keeps creativity safe from AI, but allows people to use it in a way that gives them the control back. Um, so I think that's kind of an interesting take on it because she's out there, like she made a deep fake of herself, but
Mhm.
it wasn't some random person on the internet doing it. So she's able to control what's being put out
Right.
into the world.
She kept her power in it. And I read
Mhm.
that she's been training it for over a year. So this is something she decided right away. So she had the foresight to see that this was going to be a thing and acted on it immediately and started training hers. So if she's been training that for a year, I can only imagine how. I mean, I would love to see like how good it is. Like not only in if it's, I mean, I don't even know the fullness of it, but I imagine if they've been working on it that long, they have a voice, like a physical, like out loud voice. They have a avatar that you could see, but I bet the questions and the answers and all that is just really like on. And then she a rapper or a pop singer somewhere in the UK, I think. And I imagine, like, what if then, if people want to make a music using her avatar, then who owns the music, right? If it's her singing it, wouldn't that just put her in whose ever music? Like, that's kind of interesting to think about too. So it's like, no matter what, you could get anybody to sing your song. So now, like, if Katie, you wrote some songs and you want someone to sing it, and her avatar is available to have like a real life person sing your songs, interesting. That could be cool. Like, and I imagine then it'll be levels, right? Because if Mariah Carey ever did one, that's going to be a high price compared to like, someone that's only been singing for a little while. But how cool is that? That you could take your songs out into the world with some of these artists that you never would have had access to before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that'll be
would,
really cool.
I mean, you could have it be like an AI cameo.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
I was just thinking of that app too.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any AI on there already. That would be interesting to look at. Okay. Has everybody had a chance to play with ChatGPT's new memory feature? Not yet. Have you seen it come up in your chats? It
I
so it's auto, it's not something you have to turn on. It's a feature that they're rolling out. It's in my ChatGPT. So I would play around in your chats and say something like, please remember this piece of information. But basically it's a new feature that allows you to remember information across conversations, which is great for ChatGPT because previously it could only remember information within one conversation. So if you're working on multiple conversations about a specific company or a specific project, and you say, please remember this project for this company, it will save that in its memory.
That's awesome.
It
That's
is.
gonna be very helpful.
Yeah, I'm curious how good it's going to be because it also, like, they have other things in here that they say work a certain way that don't. Um, and when we upload CSV files, the lack of it says it has a certain context window, but it actually doesn't, and it won't reference all your information. So I would be like maybe trust and verify because I personally don't trust that it would remember all the things and carry it to new conversations it thoroughly. Um, and so it's a nice feature, and I definitely would be on the cautious side with that one or conservative side and double checking things. Um, because ChatGPT has not been great at remembering, even in their custom GPTs and things like that. So it seems like it'd be even more nuanced and a little bit more messy. I'm curious on the back end how they keep track of your information and how they use it for future context. So we'll see. I don't see it in mine. Oh wait, I have a little icon.
So if you go into your settings, similar to where you go to turn the data on and off if you want it to be trained. So they are using that data to train ChatGPT. So if you don't want your data being trained, or being used to train, then you might want to turn that off, but it's in that settings and personalization area.
Mm.
And my internet is being a little wonky, so I'm just going to check and make sure that somebody is still there. Okay. I think both Nicole and I are having, well, I'm at the airport today, so my internet is not the best. So that was the new memory feature. And then next we have some new social media channels that are coming out that kind of are like I feel like it's like the old MySpace before like algorithms were really a thing. And so there's a pi.fyi. It's a new social media platform. I have not tried it out, so I'm not like endorsing either of these that I'm about to share. But both of these platforms are algorithm free, and they're aiming to reintroduce human creation and increased genuine connection between humans. The other
Oh,
one is called
interesting.
Spread. So these might be some to keep an eye on. They both look very like PIFYI looks very new and very basic, kind of like Reddit almost. No frills, essentially. So it'll be interesting to watch this because this is kind of like a follow-up story to that. People looking for those verified human spaces almost. So now we're seeing these verified human spaces starting to pop
Yeah.
up, which I thought was so funny because I wasn't even like looking for that information. And the
And
next
so
one of the,
fast, right?
yeah,
Like we were just talking about that, and not that that was the first conversation ever, but even the avatars and the meta AI and all that stuff just happened recently. So, yeah, everything's responding really quickly.
So I did sign up for the PI FYI one last night, but I literally have not played around with it yet. And then Spread is the other one. The links are on the blog. So if you want to check them out, definitely check them out. I'm going to be keeping an eye on them to see how they perform and what type of interactions they're having, because like I don't know if anybody's on Threads, but that one's still very new and very like not really sure what's going on over there. So, um, and it is a little hard to manage like 10 social media platforms. So,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like, where do you go to get all that? And they're also new now that there's not going to be a manager that has access to all of these things yet. Or will they even want them to?
they might
Because they're
not. Yeah.
anti-algorithm, they're probably not going to want them
Yeah.
to. So that's, yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see.
Hmm.
So, the last thing that I wanted to share for our visual vault today is see if I can share screen here. Here it is. Okay, so this is one of my favorite parameters to use within Midjourney, especially if you're feeling kind of stuck. It is literally called the weird parameter. And all you have to do is take a normal prompt and then add the dash dash weird, and it goes on a scale from 0 to 3,000. So um, we have like the control image here where it is a woman holding a potted plant. And these are all pretty basic standard images. And then I just added 500 to see where it would go. And automatically it's like pulling out some surrealism a little bit. Um, this lady's looking off to the back. The pots are starting to look a little different, getting a little more artistic. And then I bumped it up to 1500. And 1500 is always, I like 1500 or higher is always funny to me because there's usually like these cutout images in there, which is just strange. I don't know what they're trying to do with
Yeah,
these.
they look more like old Midjourney than really stylistic.
Mhm. Now there is a stylized parameter, but that's different. That is so stylized is actually telling the journey to be more creative with it. Weird is random and it can change over time. So
Mm.
like weird on Midjourney 5 works different than weird on Midjourney 4 and Midjourney 6. So all very like all the results are going to be different across the versions. Then we put it up to 3,000. This lady looks like she's just being possessed by the plant or something. I don't know what's going on over here. But then some of these other ones are kind of cool and look more like editorial, magazine style. So it's a fun one to play around with if you're looking for some creative inspo.
I like the bottom right one. That one's really
Yeah, I did
cool.
too.
The
Yeah,
plant matches her hair, like texture and
yeah, it's very cool. Um, any questions on the weird parameter?
No, I like that. Just like help you get some style if you're not really sure what to write.
And as usual, like if you find something you like, so maybe you liked this artistic painting style here, you could take that image and then have Midjourney describe it for you. So then you could replicate that style over and over again. So you could continue working off of that same image. A few other things that we wanted to announce. So we are having a summer college program for college students who are enrolled in business, marketing, entrepreneurship. And as well, this is also an offer for young out of work marketers and recent graduates. So we have that information and the link on the blog. And that program is starting June 20th. So if you know somebody who is in college or recent graduate, have them apply.
Yep, and that's going to run just like our regular applied AI class does. So 10 weeks where we will um, train them on how to use AI, how to use it responsibly, ethically, all the things so that when they get out into the workforce or even while they're in college, that they can be using it, but using it in the right way. Um, Mostly it's to give them those extra skills right before they get out into the workforce, or if they are in the workforce and they're struggling to get a job straight out of college, to help them with that. Um, so it's going to be a really fun program we're excited about. Um, is that our entire newsletter already? That went really fast.
Well, I went through it a little faster today because I wanted to make sure we had enough time to go through like the HeyGen
Yeah, so what
stuff
we wanted to
too.
do today is look at HeyGen a little bit more. So we talked about FKA Twigs in the newsletter and about how she created her deep fakes. And we've been seeing this come around for a while. So remember, was it Snapchat, I think, or Instagram back in the day? The guy made the Tom Cruise one and it was so lifelike. Remember that? This was before even ChatGPT. So this is something that has been out there for a while, but not something that's available to everyone, unless you had like someone on your team that's super good at, animation or, some of these more techie programming things. So one of the things that we teach in our course, which also, by the way, starts May 21st, we're doing another course for applied AI, is creating your own avatar. So I think Nicole called it your digital twin. It could be called avatar,
Your AI clone.
AI clone. I don't know. There's a lot of words for them. I'm sure you could pull up a list of 10 to 20 terms that people have for it. Katie, some of the tools we use for that we show how to use in the course are HeyGen, 11 Labs. Are there any other ones that you've seen come up lately?
So we've talked about Synthesia before.
Mm,
That's another tool that does something similar to HeyGen.
yep.
And and that's the thing with a lot of the tools. There are ones that have some similar capabilities and you kind of have to test and see like which one you enjoy most. And I think we looked at Synthesia and we looked at HeyGen and we kind of just liked the way HeyGen worked a little bit better.
Mhm.
I like how they're integrated with 11 Labs. And I know Descript, so like for podcasters, a lot of people like using Descript. So if if podcasting is part of your workflow, then Descript might be something to look at.
So I wanted to show a little bit about HeyGen because I don't remember when it was released, but it's been quite a while. Quite a while in the world of this whole AI situation. Um, we first created one back in, I think Nicole's was from September of last year. And she even went through the extra process of fine tuning and doing all these extra things. And the quality of what you can do now versus what you could do then, even with all those extra add-ons, is pretty amazing. And so let me share my screen. And just to give you an idea of some of the ways that we are using it. These here are the videos that we initially upload. So this is where you actually train your avatar. So this is my video, this is Katie's, and this is Nicole's. And as you can see, I just went with my white curtain behind me and I put a blanket over my computer so you couldn't see that. That way, when you got to the point where you were actually using the avatar, it was easier to cut it out, the background. So that's the reasoning for that. You don't have to do that. It just, I knew that I would want a different background. So like I just had that in mind when I created it. So you start by just recording 2 minutes of yourself talking. The best part of this is, especially for people that aren't good at like public speaking or having some sort of script, is you could just say whatever. So you can get on there and say, hi, I'm just recording this for my avatar and this is really weird, I don't even know why I'm doing this, and I'm here in mastermind and there's this many people, and oh, now my dog's barking, and you can just, doesn't matter what you say as long as you're using words. There's some parameters they give you. You're supposed to pause in between and to make sure you close your mouth, and you want the lighting to be good, because this thing is going to live for a while. I mean, hopefully you use it. You can always make new ones. It's not like this is the end of, what your avatar will be. So we are going to actually recreate a new one for Nicole because hers is on that older version. So you submit 2 minutes or more of video, you send it in. It doesn't take hardly any time anymore. It usually I think in the beginning it took a couple days or something to come back, but now it's half hour, couple hours, I don't know, probably depends on the time of day, speed of internet, that sort of thing. And then it will tell you when it's ready. And what you'll do is that's when you can start to create your avatar. And I just wanted to really show this because this avatar is from one video, 2 minute video. That's it. I haven't spent any other extra time. And so this video I made last week. Yes. And I uploaded it on Friday. And so then this week is when I cut out the background and stuff, but I haven't done any additional training or anything for it. So this is when you think about like what FKA Twigs is doing and thinking about like the kind of people she has access to and the amount of time, like having that whole year, like what hers must be like, because here I am less than a week into this and I want to show you what it comes out with, because it's pretty good. On mine, I will say that I did, because you can split it up, and let me see if I can, I wonder if I can go back into the edit. I don't want to edit as new. Actually, let me do that. As you see here, there is this is your script. So this is where you would write in, I don't know, maybe it's about one of your offerings, or maybe it's an onboarding call, or maybe it's, I don't know, some sort of customer service speech or information, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You can separate it. You can put it all into one. You've got pausing in here. You can speed up your voice. You can slow it down. But for this one particularly, what I did was I re-recorded just right here on my computer, this beginning hook, because I wanted that to be louder and like more attention grabbing than what the AI version of my voice was. So that's what I did there. And so all I did, it was really easy. And it's really cool that you just push a button and it will do 3, 2, 1, and you just start talking, and that's it. Like then your little block comes up down here and applies right there. And the avatar will then adjust to whatever words you just added into the audio, and like really quickly. You can, add different things. They've got text. That's what these are. They've got elements. That's a background image. So you'll notice all that white that was behind me in the original video is gone. You can put video behind you. You can put, they've got some stickers. What I like to do is go to the templates because they have cooler stuff in there. And then I'll add, like, say I want to use part of this one. I'll click that. It will add another slide here, and then I'll just go there and take elements that I like and move it onto there because all of these elements don't live in the element section. So that's just a little trick that I learned. And let me show you how this one particularly turned out. And then I'll show you also, here we go. And you'll notice there's a difference between the audio in the beginning and then the AI audio. And that's okay because I wanted that hook to like really get people's attention. But I also could have gone in there and re-recorded the whole thing if I wanted to. Just trying out all these different things to see how it works. So, hey, what if I told you you could save 20 hours this week?
Andrea here from AI Smart Marketing. Ever feel like your week is just a series of tasks that keep you from what you really love? What if there was a way to offload those tedious tasks and focus on the good stuff? With our AI-driven methods, it's not just about automation, it's about transformation. Say goodbye to the grunt work and hello to more time doing what you love. Want to know more? Click on the link.
And there you go. So now you've got this AI trained, and again, you could go in and do some more videos and retrain it. And there also is a selection for like keeping your eyes forward all the time. And I almost went back and redid it, but then I kind of liked that I was like looking around and leaning forward and doing all these things because it felt a little less like robotic than some of them can feel. So it's totally up to you and what your use case is going to be. But there's so many things you can do. And what the other thing I really like now is that they have this whole sharing page. So let me just show you what that looks like. So you can essentially create like a little landing page for your avatar. So you could actually use this for, I don't know, if you had an ad and you wanted to take them to a specific page, or you just needed a landing spot for people. So instead, you can use this by itself, or you can use this whole page even, and then take them directly to somewhere else, or a sign up, or whatever it is. So there's that feature now as well. So that I thought that was really cool. And let me go back out so I can show you the difference between what now exists. That's the newest version, and you'll see from the quality of Nicole's, and hers was fine-tuned and had some extra steps. But this is the old version of HeyGen, but you'll notice the difference. So still good though, still usable.
Want 20 hours back every week? AI training is your key. Imagine this. You wake up feeling renewed, your morning coffee tastes better, and your work schedule looks delightfully manageable. How, you ask? Through the power of AI training, you've not only offloaded those tedious tasks, but transformed how you work entirely. Imagine having up to 20 extra hours each week to devote to growth, innovation, or even a little more me time. This isn't fantasy. It's the tangible outcome of mastering AI with us. Excited to turn this vision into your daily reality? Click on the link.
And there you go. So what I notice is there's less body movements, and there's the mouth doesn't quite move as much. And I know she doesn't talk as limited as those mouth movements. And again, we could totally use this. And on all of these, I've already given it the label on the bottom that says it is generated by AI, just because, I mean, I think it's obvious to me and most of us, but I think it's good to be transparent. But that's the difference between what is now and what was. And you'll notice on this one, it was a video background on that one is so you can do some different things, but it's kind of endless what you can do with this, whether it's a sales tactic or customer service or like I said, onboarding, or if you want to put your training into there, or I mean, really anything. Mackenzie,
It
did you have a question?
Just it was making you all sound so nervous.
Oh. Um, so there's different pitches and things you can do. With Nicole's, because it was on that older version, there I don't think there was as much she could do with the voice part. I'm not really sure. But with mine, actually just got a external microphone today, so I may re-record my voice just because that will be better because I was just talking into my iMac. And because it is a little brings you down a little bit monotone wise, but there is some pitch adjustments in there. But you can only do that if you are in the fine tuning mode, and that there's some extra costs that go into that. And to me, I mean, I thought it accomplished what I needed it to accomplish, and like I was pretty happy with it. And yes, it will get better. So this is something all of us can do in a little bit of time. You don't have to be a celebrity and have a bunch of money or have a whole year, right? Like this was just a 2-minute video, which I will say I took a lot of videos before I was happy with a 2-minute one. So if there was any time spent, it was on redoing the video over and over again. But the actual avatar building, that was the easiest part. But it's just really fun. And the fact that they have these templates for you now too makes it really great because you could do some really cool social media. You could send out reminders for appointments or I don't know, like really anything that you needed to communicate with people. So
I wonder in the future, so how they have different templates here, so you can
Mhm.
have different backgrounds. It would be cool if they had a feature that could put a different shirt on you or like change like your shirt so that on your Instagram feed, if you have a lot of these videos, it doesn't look like you're wearing the same clothes,
And
or
it might be a part of the fine tuning. I'm not 100% on that one.
so Katie
They
said
do have that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just hella expensive.
Yeah. So for us, we can just shoot, a couple more videos or just leave it. I mean, who's really gonna notice? Just like, if you're on Facebook or Instagram or any of the other places, there are algorithms. So you aren't going to see every one of them. So you're not going to know that I've been wearing this same black shirt for like 2 years, right? If we keep using this.
It's also, like throwback to Steve Jobs. He wore the same thing every
Yeah,
day.
right.
Zuckerberg doesn't change his look very often,
Right. It makes me
Yeah.
think of, well, a lot of cartoons, but in particular, Peter from Family Guy. He would go into his closet and he just had all the same green pants and all the same white shirts. Like that's all he had.
I
Well,
had a great
it's a good point to like plan out what you're going to wear before you film too, because if you're so like striped shirts, typically, especially horizontal striped shirts, don't show up well on camera and they don't usually look good. So solid color, darker color, jewel tones look good. So if you are going to do this, just plan ahead, wear something that can be used over and over again.
Yeah, and for men, make sure that your collar is right and the buttons are straight and everything. Because I saw one that looked disheveled on a very famous person because, like, the way that his collar was bunched and like kind of crooked. And it just stood out so much well, at least for me, it stood out so much watching the video because it was almost distracting to his message because he looked like because the collar on his button-up shirt was so crooked and I'm a higher aesthetic person, so I notice those things. But it creates a visual noise, and so the least amount of visual noise you can create, the better. Like I've got a really cute patterned shirt, but it does not look good. It definitely doesn't look good when I record. And so you can have like in mine, I do have a patterned shirt, but it's muted and I have a suit jacket on. So you don't see just pattern on there and it's still visually interesting without, I think, at least I don't think it's distracting. You can tell me if you think it's distracting on that one that I did.
I think it's limiting to what backgrounds you could put on. That's all. And so that's why I would always say solids are always best, only because you can do a lot of things. And there's nothing wrong with the other ways, but you just will be more limited. So unless you're like one of those people that does the same background in color and font all the time, which can totally work depending on your brand, I would say solids, which is why I just did black because I thought, well, that's going to go in front of anything good.
Yeah. What do you do for videos, Mackenzie? Because you guys have
Well,
videos too,
yeah, I
right?
saw Katie, your question. We made an avatar, not of anybody on our team.
Mhm.
And mainly that was before I think HeyGen was really good. Like we just didn't really want to pay for HeyGen, and it was kind of before it was really good. So we just selected a good enough avatar. So probably with time, we would create either something more real based on a person. I'm not sure, but we haven't really. Ours is not based on a person, and it looks AI generated. But to me, from a standpoint of like, it's okay that this is not a real person talking to you. It's a training video that's clearly very, very scripted. So, and we've not used it for any type of like marketing or promotional material.
Yeah. We we've seen some that were done in with a professional studio, professional lighting, really nice looking. And I mean you can tell. And if you're doing social posts, the ones that are less professional looking and less cleaned up, the ones that look more like a normal person, usually perform better. And so it usually doesn't have to be perfect. If you're Microsoft and you're doing training videos, I mean, they have studios, they can do that easy enough. But for kind of the normal person who is putting out social, we see this, and even with bigger companies, if you have raw human looking videos as opposed to the super polished, it does better.
Yeah, so again, it's back to what are you going to use it for? So to me, I always pick what will work for the most things, just because that saves the most time, right? So, but of course, if you have time to curate between a bunch of different looks for different uses, go for it.
I
So
put in the chat to, if you have time, check out the UGC section
I was just
in
going to say that.
HeyGen because there are some good avatars in there that are made for UGC content, but also it's kind of cool because you can put in your URL and you can see what images it's pulling from your site. So if you're ever looking to have UGC content done for your brand, um, it will scrape your site. And it's also kind of a good test to see what AI is pulling from your site too.
Yeah, I'm doing one for ours right now just to see what it is while we're just do it live on here. So,
It does, like, if it's, so I've noticed because I've tested it with ours, I've tested it on like Amazon and a few other product-based sites, and I've found that it typically works better on like product-based sites rather than service-based sites, unless the service-based sites have a lot of images on them.
mm.
but it's kind of cool because even when you look at the templates, you can see the possibilities of what you could create.
I'm gonna try one first.
And I actually think, Mackenzie, I don't know if you've messed around with the UGC section, but I actually think that the avatars and the UGC section are sometimes better than the avatars in the main section.
Check it out.
All right, so I'm going through the process right now of making one. We'll just do that together so you can see. So what I did was just gave it our home page. So far, all I did was gave it, it asked me to pick who our audience was, so it had a few selections. So that's the only thing you've missed so far. And then it generated a few scripts. So I was just gonna pick hey, this might be a good one too.
Yeah, usually the shorter scripts sound better, I think, because the longer the scripts are, the more the AI voice starts to trail off.
Yeah, so let's try this one. It's directed at professionals, marketers, business owners, tech enthusiasts. So let's try that. And so it gave us an influencer. And so now we can pick our layout, full screen with videos, social share, floating avatar, full screen talking. Move my screen over a little bit. Lip syncing will be available after submitting. That's fine. I don't really like what they're doing with the logo, so I'm just gonna leave her. I don't know what the difference between full screen and video and intro and voiceover, so we will turn the captions on. So avatar. Oh, so we can apply our own avatars to these as well. Interesting. We could pick other avatars if we want. I'll just
Kim in a car, Darren in a car.
yeah. And then of course we can pick music. So I just won't do music. Let's see what happens.
HeyGen has been making a lot of updates. While we're waiting for this, next week we've got, which one do we have next week? Sorry, Press Jockey, Cahill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Mackenzie, Cahill from Press Jockey, they've created a new platform that pulls in, it's help a podcaster out. And so it's pulling in podcast requests. And he's going to come on and show us that next week. It sounds really interesting. We got the email talking about what they're doing with the podcast one, because it's supposed to match you up with some good podcasters. And that's something I feel like you might be interested in some of that. I'm not sure how the settings are and how global it is, and we'll find out more next week.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And then Gamma had their biggest release ever last week, where they've added a lot more features. And I think it says on the website a lot of the things that they've been doing. I got the email that tells about the different updates that they have, and Gamma is my favorite tool. And I had got to meet with the CEO and founder, and he is going to come on to one of our masterminds too. We're just scheduling that out to talk about Gamma, what they're up to. And they have somewhere around 20 million users already.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're multilingual. They have a lot of languages that are in beta right now. We tested it in German and it works in German well. approved by the Germans that I was on Zooms with. We did a little testing it out before I did a workshop for a group in Germany last Thursday. And we also tested out some of the AI PRM prompts in ChatGPT, and we asked it to change the language to German, and it did, and it asked the questions in German too. And so if you are doing videos or content that's going to go out in other countries, changing the languages on it is getting more accurate and better. It leaps and bounds from where it was last year. You see your coworker.
That's Guan. That's my husband's friend from high school visiting us from Japan.
Oh,
Yeah.
konnichiwa.
He's Chinese, but he lives in Japan, so
Oh,
he'll understand both. Yeah.
That's fun. Is it slowly generating, Andrea?
We're at 86% now, so we're almost there.
I'm curious. I wonder if the people in the UGC, the influencers that are there, are they making money from their likeness being used? Like, I don't know. They just still
I
like,
imagine
I just
so.
can't imagine signing up for that. But if I got paid per
Yeah.
use, then, or like per word, all right.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Or per second, or the time of the videos, I bet is what it is. Yeah, I mean, it would be those early adopters, right, that were willing to like try it and see what it was about. Because as you saw, there weren't that many in there. Less
Maybe
Yeah.
than
it's the
10.
favorite avatar that we have for the next 20 years, the
Yeah, right.
OGs.
Oh yeah, here we go. So let me share screen and we'll just be watching this all together for the first time, live reveal of this avatar.
Attention professionals, marketers, business owners, and tech enthusiasts. Level up your marketing game with the Applied AI course, AI Smart Marketing. Learn to create effective campaigns using cutting-edge AI tools like Jasper and ChatGPT. Gain hands-on experience and a deep understanding of marketing principles that adapt to the ever-changing AI landscape. Join the waitlist now at aismartmarketing.com. Don't miss out on this opportunity to master AI for business.
Interesting. So in the process where they pull up all the images, that's probably where you could do some editing, or where I would do some editing after seeing this. I don't know if you could go back in and redo it. Looks like not, but I mean, it still looked like she was saying those things, and I mean, without really giving it any parameters but a URL. I mean, that's all we gave it. Like, here's the link to our website homepage. Um, and if I could have had better images, it totally could have been usable. So next time, what I know now is like, I didn't even look up the directions. I just went through it so we could see it, develop one so we could all see, is that making sure those images that it does pull will work in that size, in that sort of frame. And also looking at maybe some of the other formats of that you can choose from there.
Well, I'm curious then, we've been doing videos for blog posts because we can pull in a link to a blog post with Pictory.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if we could do what it'll turn it into aesthetically if we use one of those from HeyGen
Yeah.
as a teaser to the blog post.
Yeah, we totally could do that.
Yeah.
That'll be my next test.
Awesome.
Oh, we should do the newsletter.
We should do the newsletter.
That's what I'll try next.
Mackenzie, do you have a HeyGen account?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not paid. We don't have a paid version though, no.
What did you use for your avatar? Did you use HeyGen?
11 Labs? Is that?
Okay.
I think it's 11 Labs.
Yeah, it could be. And I believe 11 Labs is the one that does the voice for HeyGen, because 11 Labs, like a lot of people build that into it because it's kind of the gold standard when it comes to AI voice.
Because yeah, we used to use, and we still use Amazon Polly for voice, just because we used that for the past like year and a half. So everything's already in there for content we've already created. We use
Yeah.
Amazon Polly.
And when you do blog posts, do you do the full audio script?
No, and that's what I think we talked about last time. We don't do that, but that was like the SEO person helped me realize, okay, actually an audio script and an avatar addition to a blog would just increase interaction and time on page, which gives it a better signal to Google. Because we don't really, we're only writing blogs to rank. We're not writing it to, we don't, for our goal is like lives empowered. It doesn't get us a life empowered. However, it helps us rank. So on other pages, people come to us. But that helped me realize one reason to prioritize that addition to the website over some of the other things that we want to do.
Yeah, and it also keeps it more ADA friendly. And
Which, yeah,
that's got to help too from a ranking perspective.
yeah. One other thing that was interesting I saw today was that, well, so you're doing the beginning part that a bunch of like news organizations are suing OpenAI for infringement, but then
Yeah.
I saw today that, was it like ChatGPT, somebody set up a deal with News Corp to buy their content annually. And then I just Googled it while you guys were talking and be like, oh, I'll mention that. And apparently that might have been a fake story. So I don't know if it's true or not, but I think that's interesting, the idea that they could partner with original content generating places to get brand new original content to build their models off of. That's like one way we can like sustain news organizations and like reporting. Not that News Corp is the best one to base that off of, but yeah.
Yeah, but still some way to start developing this
Like why
new
we need the
way.
original still. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, because none of this would be possible if um these like photography styles or art styles weren't already in existence, then Midjourney wouldn't happen. And if words weren't already written in styles, then
Would have nothing to learn from.
ChatGPT or any of these others would be nothing. So it's, yeah.
And the
But
other thing that piqued my interest this week was that OpenAI has like a planned end of May, June release date of their search engine. So nothing more about like the name or anything like that, but they have like I think a press release day. I don't remember what day it was, but that's coming up.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Last week I think you said you used Perplexity, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen you.com, YOU?
No.
They also like, I mean, it's a competitor to Perplexity, and I was just curious if anybody had experience with it, because we haven't used it, and it's one out there that's getting, tens of millions of dollars of investment. And I don't know what Perplexity's gotten yet, but I was curious. There's a handful like that.
Yeah. And the article I was reading basically was like their launch is going to make Perplexity nothing. Like it's going to make that totally unnecessary. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. If it looks like Perplexity and You, or if it's an entirely different reimagined search.
Yeah, Perplexity looks like they're looking to raise another 250 million. So I'm curious because, I mean, it's kind of like the early days in the library. There was LexisNexis. I don't know if you remember that. It was the research tool when you go to the library that would give you access to
Oh, yeah.
academic articles and stuff. Yeah.
That hit a weird part of my brain. Yeah.
Um, and then, I mean, LexisNexis, I think it's still a thing. Um, and, of course, Google killed it in a way, and was competing with it once everything could go online. And it'll be interesting to see what ChatGPT does with this, just because I don't trust ChatGPT to be accurate with things yet. And so to trust it with the accuracy that you would get from Perplexity of, real time information. Um, well, yeah, I'm curious to see how it all plays out. And I do think there's going to be a lot of consolidation. People stuck their necks out this last year, and some will get chopped off and some will keep going. Oh, we are at 3 o'clock. I can tell Andrea's deep in HeyGen creating over there.
I am, and I'll post it in the group when I'm done. So
Okay,
we can
excellent.
see this second round of the newsletter as with the avatar and adding a couple more images and picking a different format and a couple other things. So.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing how that turns out. Katie's taking off, so safe travels to Atlanta. And Mackenzie, we'll see you next week. We've got, like I said, we have our guest, Cahill, that's going to be on probably for about 20 minutes or so, and he'll be there to answer questions. I'm curious what his updates are because, they're doing some cool things with Press Jockey and now this Help a Podcaster Out.
Yeah, I'm gonna push my my policy to the teammate that joined last time to join, since I've heard the
Oh, yeah.
press jockey one a couple of times now. It'll be good for, because I've got it captured, but it's not something we worked on yet, something we're going to. I want her to kind of hear it firsthand. I think that'll be better. So hopefully we'll have another guest next week.
Good. Yeah, please share.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Great to see everyone.